guys, it's Relainin and welcome back to another episode of Life. And today we are going to be talking about today we should just get started. I don't know why I did that. Today is episode 30. Let's start off with Song of the Week. Today's Song of the Week is Hello My Name Is by Matthew West. Hello, my name is Child of the One True King. I'm ashamed of you. I forgot the lyrics. Okay, this was released as the second single from Into the Light, a follow-up to the story of your life, where Matthew West asked fans for their stories to seek inspiration for his songs. The singer-songwriter received thousands of responses, so he decided to continue on bringing more true tales into the light in form of songs. This tune gives a voice to a guy named Jordan dealing with drug addiction. Okay, that is the song of the week. Now let's move on to the rest of the week. But I tell you, love your enemies, pray for those who treat you badly. Matthew 5:44. That's just weird. Matthew West song we just did in the Matthew 5:43 through 48. Continues Jesus' teaching on love and humility, a part of the Sermon on the Mount after commanding believers not to seek revenge in the face of insults. Jesus expands the idea of love to include one's enemies. Human beings naturally struggle with the idea of passively accepting persecution. We naturally recoil at the idea of expressing active love in our deeds, not necessarily in our emotions. For those who hate and attack us, however, loving those who love you is easy. Love standards are higher. Now, let's move on to the travel thing of the week, and this might actually take you a little long. Today's another originals one, and so another one that I haven't seen called Duke and the Great Pie War. Opening countertop. On the countertop, Bob and Larry once again greet kids, before Bob explains that they got a letter from Cody Gordon from Evergreen, Colorado, who Larry greets back, calling her Cardado Cody. I don't know why I forgot the word for that for a second. Before explaining further that Cody became a big sister with Larry congratulating Cody. However, Bob also explains that while Cody is proud of her new brother, she gets angry because no one pays attention to her anymore, as well as the fact that she can't play as much as she used to, because of her mother always having her help out with the baby before saying that her mom wants to show her love to her brother, but she's not sure how or why. Larry understands the situation before saying that it reminds him how he felt when his brother, Steve the Cucumber, was born. Bob is surprised to discover that he has three brothers named Steve the Cucumber, Mark the Cucumber, and Bob the Cucumber, with Bob being the oldest, which surprises Bob with telling Larry that he never even knew he had a brother named Bob. Larry is certain that he told Bob about this, with Bob saying if he did, then he would have remembered that Larry had a brother named Bob. Also telling him, "I known you for 10 years," with Larry saying, "Has it been that long?" Larry then says that he felt the same way with his brother Steve the Cucumber. With Steve the Cucumber was born, saying that his mother had a story for him when he felt that way. When Bob asked Larry what his brothers look like, Larry answers like cucumbers. After Larry tells Cody to check out the first story, Bob says that rather Lucy, Grey brothers, you think you know a guy. Babysitter in denial. And they had... Oh, here we go. Okay. In ancient Egypt, a bunch of Hebrew children are playing by the riverside, while in the Cat's Miriam, played by Laura Carrot, is playing with her toy boat in the water, frustrated about what's been happening recently in her family. She suddenly hears the sound of a whistle blowing before the lifeguard played by Jimmy Gord tells all the Hebrews to get out of the water because it's an Egyptian swim. Miriam then peeks out from behind the cattails to see the Princess of Egypt, played by Miss Achimita, being carried towards the shore of the river. Miriam then noticed that her toy boat has sailed away from her and is now sailing towards the princess. So she hops out through the water to get after the boat, but the lifeguard tells her to get out of the water before the princess guards comes towards Miriam. Before she gets out of the water, she starts to hop home after that. At Miriam's house, Miriam then returns home to find that her parents are throwing a party and have invited all of their friends to celebrate the birth of Miriam's brand new baby brother. Miriam's mother then asks Miriam where she has been, that she asked her to help her. Miriam's older brother Aaron then shows up after telling her, "Hey Squirt, you're in trouble." Miriam is about to tell Aaron not to call her Squirt before her mother tells her that she got lots of responsibilities now that she's a big sister, and she has more to think about than just herself. Miriam then goes to retrieve her baby brother before showing him off to all the guests at the party, talking about how cute the baby is. At the same time this happens, two of the Pharaoh's guards, played by Jean-Claude and Philippe P., hop at the door after that. Miriam is confused that why everybody is referring to her baby brother as just the baby, and why can't they just call him he before everyone hushes her? The baby then starts crying before Miriam's mother tells her to feed the baby, which Miriam is not too fond of. Her mother telling her that she will be taking care of the baby while they're working, so it's never too early to learn. Miriam attempts to feed the baby, but the baby refuses. Before the baby grabs hold of the spoon, and hits Miriam in the face with some baby food, which everyone finds really cute. Miriam's mother then comforts her, telling her that's just what babies do. The doors open as the Pharaoh's guards then enter the house, telling everyone to get back to work at the brickyards. When the guards notice a brand new baby has been born, they ask if it's a baby girl, just as the camera pans over to a bunch of baseball equipment. Despite the fact that the baseball stuff is for boys, the guards immediately adopt the thought that the baby is a girl before they leave. But not without one of the guards saying, sarcastically speaking, you expect to see a baby boy or two. After that, Miriam's mother then tells Miriam that she can't let the guards find out that the baby's a boy. But when Miriam asks why, her mother tells her that this is a really important thing she ever do, and she will explain later. Miriam is a little bit saddened, which her mother questions her about it. Miriam answers to her mother that she never has time for her anymore, before her mother says that she loved to stay home with her and the baby, but she can't, telling Miriam to take care of herself and watch the baby until they get back. Before she goes out the door, after Miriam watches her parents off, she then attempts to play with her baby brother, throwing a ball to him. But it just bounces off his head. Miriam then sourly says that she gets used to all the attention before the baby came along. She then picks up him, asking him what good are you, before noticing that he has a dirty diaper. Before she starts singing about what a baby can do, however, the Pharaoh's guards hear her singing before they come into the house again, telling her she can't hide anything from them. Of course, when Miriam tells them that she was changing the baby's diaper, this causes the guards to run out of the house in terror. Once the guards have left again, Miriam then turns to smile at the baby before giving him a stink eye afterwards. Almost dropped my lipstick. Okay. Later that night, after Miriam's parents have come home from working in the brickyards, Miriam's mother checks on the baby before checking on Miriam. After dad telling her to go back to sleep and everything's fine. Miriam then says that she worked hard today, to which her mother agrees with, before Miriam says that she liked it better when she was the baby. Before her mother tells her that she's now a big sister and being family means taking care of each other. When Miriam asks her mother if she still loves her too, her mother answers that she still loves her and nothing changed, stating that they still love Erin after she came along, with Miriam saying that that's different, but her mother tells her not at all, before telling her to get some sleep. When Miriam is asked to watch the baby again, Miriam answers that she would do it for her mother. The next morning, after Miriam's parents and Erin head back towards the brickyards again, Miriam is once again tasked with looking after her baby brother. But the job is difficult for her, as every time she tries to feed him, he keeps flinging baby food in her face. While Miriam is sweeping up the road, Erin tells her that she missed a spot, which miffs Miriam so much that she tells him to stop calling her Squirt. However, princess guards are carrying the princess down the street, with one of the pharaoh's guards calling out that the princess is coming through. Unfortunately, Miriam is right in the middle of the road, so Erin quickly pushes Miriam out of the way. Just as the princess cavern stops in the front of him, which sends one of the pharaoh's guards flying until he hits the ground behind Erin. When Miriam asks Erin if he's alright, Erin answers that he's just fine, before telling Miriam to get out of here before there's trouble. The first guard is disoriented from the impact, asking who did that, before Erin answers that it was he who did it, to which the guards promptly punishes Erin by taking him to the brickyard. While Miriam asks Erin why he did that, but Erin does not answer as he gets taken away. Back to Miriam's house, Miriam's mother says it's getting more dangerous and not safe for the baby anymore. But Miriam asks what it is that the Egyptians are doing. Miriam's father says that it's time Miriam knew. Before Miriam's mother answers that the Pharaoh is afraid of the Hebrews, fearing that they will take over Egypt, so he ordered the guards to take away the firstborn baby boys, which is the reason why Miriam's parents asked Miriam to watch out for the baby. Which Miriam realizes that this is the reason Erin watched out for her. Of course, Miriam thinks that it's silly saying that they're just babies before her father tells her that what they pray for every night. Miriam's mother says that they can't keep the baby in the house anymore because it's just not safe. Before Miriam's father asks where they can hide the baby. Unfortunately, Miriam knows a place to hide the baby. Later, the baby is now in a basket in the waters of the river. Miriam telling him that he has to be very quiet before the sound of the lifeguard's whistle is heard once again. With the lifeguard once again telling all of the Hebrews to get out of the water because it's Egyptian swim. Of course, the baby starts to cry, but when Miriam hushes him, she accidentally bumps the basket, which causes it to drift out of the water away from her. As she hops after the basket before the lifeguard yells her out to get out of the water, Miriam then hops out of the water and seems at first she's going to abandon, but realizes she has to watch out for her as she resumes chasing after the basket. The baby is still crying. The guards hears the baby cries, with Miriam hopping along the riverside, with the lifeguard asking Miriam where she's going before telling the guards, "Somebody stop her." Miriam finds herself caught by the guards before the princess discovers the baby, which the guards are confused about. The princess then says that she's going to keep the baby, calling him Moses, because she drew him up out of the water, before asking how to take care of a baby, which the guards have no clue about. Fortunately, Miriam tells the princess that she can find someone to take care of the baby, which the princess agrees with, telling Miriam to bring the baby back when he walks. Before the princess then threatens the guards that if they ever harsh to the baby, she'll have their heads. Dang it, go up. With one of the pharaoh's guards telling her, I'm not sure how that will work. Later, once the baby, now named Moses, has been brought back to Miriam's house, Miriam tells her family that the princess says that they can stay home and take care of the baby, and that they won't have to work in the brickyards anymore. Miriam's family are proud for Miriam for what she did to save Moses. With Miriam saying that she loves her brother before Moses hits her with more baby food, which causes everyone to start laughing after that. And then it goes to the next story, The Duke and the Great Pie War. A storybook opens up on the counter as I hate ads. Storybook opens up on the counter as the choir starts singing about the pie war that broke out between two kingdoms, the kingdom of Scone and the kingdom of Rhubarb. Before also singing about the Duke named Duke, played by Larry Cucumber, who fell in love with a beautiful Ruberian woman named Sweet Petunia. As well as the fact of Petunia's accompaniment. I forgot the word. Accompanied. Why have I forgot the word? By her mother-in-law, Nona, played by Madame Blueberry. The scene then switches to Ye Olde Night School, where Duke, along with the trio of carrot knights and precariously sleeping knight named Sleepless Knight, played by Jimmy Gord, are being trained by Erwin, played by Paul Gray, to be the first-ranked knights to serve in the Pie War. Part of their training involves running past a bunch of bars with donuts strung on them and avoiding to get hit by the donuts. However, while the other knights were able to avoid getting hit by the donuts, Duke ends up getting hit when he drops his sword and tries to pick it up, which sends him flying until he hits the ground. Arwen telling Duke that if that was been a pie, you'd be creamed right now. You're hopeless. My eyes watery. At that moment, Erwin top student Otis the Everlated, played by Mr. Lunchov's accompanied. Why can't I remember the word? By his accomplishment, Novik, played by Mr. Nezer. Otis then demonstrates the element of surprise in war by taunting Sleepless Knight into charging him, which Sleepless Knight does, but Otis blinds him with sunlight reflecting off the surface of a shield, which causes the Sleepless Knight to fall down on the ground in front of Otis, with Otis claiming it's all fair in love and war, which Duke doesn't think that things doesn't make any sense. Novik then announces that Otis will be taking all comers in the knowing annual jousting tournament. Otis then tells the knights that this is the training that would save their lives when facing the rebellions, and that there isn't a nice one among them. Meanwhile, at a nice little treehouse in the forest, Petunia is approached by Nona before telling Nona that what she made for dinner is water soup. Nona tells Petunia that she has been kind to her for years. Before Petunia responds that she has been kind, Nona has also been kind to her as well. Even though Nona insists of being called her mother-in-law when Petunia calls her mother. Petunia tells Nona that she has been like a mother to her. However, the pair of carrots ladies pass by carrying a basket of apples, telling Petunia to go back to your own kingdom Rebellion. One of the apples falls out of the basket and rolls in front of Petunia. Just as the young pea notices the fallen apple, Petunia picks up the apple and gives it to the pea, before she is met with glares from one of the carrot ladies, who escorts the pea away. After that, Petunia then admits that Ever since arriving in Scone, she doesn't seem to fit in because everyone is so mean to her. Down the road, Duke and his friend Lucas, played by Bob Tomato, come down the road while medieval-style surf music plays. Before Nona tells Petunia to get the apple, before Nona throws the apple for Petunia to fetch, Duke and Lucas continue hopping down the road. When Duke is asking Lucas why they're taking the long path home, before Lucas tells him that Nona moved back to town. We then learn that Nona is Duke's second cousin, twice removed. According to Lucas, the two then noticed Nona and Petunia. The Duke mistakenly Petunia for Nona, where Lucas reminds him that Nona is the short one, where Petunia is the tall, beautiful one. Before tells him the Duke not to get friendly with Petunia because she's a rebellion. Of course, Duke regards this, saying that Petunia is kind, which Petunia demonstrates by giving apple back to Nona. Nona is happy to see Duke again, as is Duke. Before Nona introduced them to sweet Petunia, Petunia tells Duke that Nona told her so much about him. They were offering him some soup to Duke, saying that there's not much, but would be glad to share it with him. However, Duke tries to act gentlemanly in front of Petunia, but he accidentally bumps the soup pot and when he bombs down, which causes the soup pot swing back and forth and hit him from behind, which causes him to knock the ball of soup to the ground. Duke and Petunia both try to retrieve the ball at the same time, but they keep bumping into each other's heads when trying to do so. Duke then decides to make it up to Petunia regardless, asking her what she needs. But Petunia tells him that she doesn't need anything, which Nona agrees with. Lucas then reminds Duke about the war, but Duke decides to do something for Petunia by allowing her to gather leftover apples from his orchard, which Petunia thanks Duke for. After Duke and Lucas leave, Lucas chides Duke for getting friendly with Petunia, saying that people of Scones don't take kindly to anyone acting friendly to a rebellion. But Duke thinks that Lucas is overreacting. The next day, Duke and Lucas are then go off to see Petunia and Nona, who are collecting apples, not realizing that the people of Scones are turning against him because all the kindness he's showing towards Petunia. Duke tries to disregard this before getting hit by an apple, trying to pass it off as an accident. The carrot knight then shows up asking them how many rebellions does it take to change a light bulb. When the other knights ask what's a light bulb, the first one answered, I don't know, but if it did, I'm sure it would not change my negative opinion on rebellions. The carrot knight then hops off laughing after that. Petunia then tells Duke that she has to go, saying that the things will only get worse if he's seen with her. But Duke tells her that things will be fine before he trips over a bucket after that. Petunia then helps Duke up before telling him that he dropped his hat, but they both end up bumping their heads again. Petunia says goodbye to Duke as she hops towards the door, but ends up bumping into the side of the door. While Duke has managed to get his hat, Nona hops back down the ladder after that, saying Petunia is somewhat clumsy for a princess, which surprises Lucas when he hears Petunia is a princess. Duke then asks Nona if Petunia is a princess, then why are they so poor? Because of that, Nona then explains in the storybook that before the Pie War, she once had a husband, Gildersleeve the Invincible, and they had a son, Ryan the only slightly less invincible. When Nona mentions that Ryan married Petunia, Duke is surprised that Petunia is married, interrupting the story, but Nona resumes telling the story, explaining that Ryan married Petunia, and they all went to live in Rhubarb. But before leaving, Glide Sleeve provided for his brother, whom a lot of viewers recognized it to be Aldous the Elevated, by giving him half the golden crest, which is the shape of a duck. That it was the key to his castle. Aldous is given the body of the duck, which he is surprised about, thinking that Glidesleeve doesn't trust him with the head of the duck, which contains the key to the vault, is given to Nonna. That when things got bad, the armies of Rubar and Scones going to war against each other, which began the Great Pie War. Nonna also explains that both Glidesleeve and Ryan were neither invincible nor slightly less invincible, as they both end up getting hit by pies in the war. Duke and then asked Nonna why she didn't stay in Rubar, before Nonna explains that even further, that while Petunia family welcomed her, they wouldn't let Nonna in after what happened. She then explains that Petunia was so compassionate, so she sacrificed being a princess in order to be with Nonna. This explanation, Duke then says that it's complicated before reiterating that Nonna is forced to live in a tree stump because of Glivesleeve's brother. Before Nonna tells him that he only looks out for himself, Duke is sympathetic for Nonna, wanting to do something to get the other half the crest back for Nonna and Petunia. Fortunately, Nonna comes up with an idea as she rummages through a bucket of apples, retrieves the head of the duck, which has the key, before calling out to Petunia. Petunia comes out while carrying a metal bowl of apples, asking Nonna how apple frisket sounds. Nonna then gives Petunia the key to the vault, saying that Petunia needs it more than she does, which surprises Petunia. Before Nonna tells her that Duke can be able to help with getting the other half of the crest. When Petunia asks Duke what Duke has to do with it, Nonna tells her to give Duke the key and tells him to joust for her in the tournament. I think that's how you say it. Even though she hesitated about it, Petunia decides to do what Nonna tells her and hops up to Duke, but accidentally bumps into him from behind. When Duke turns to face Petunia, Nonna tells Petunia to tell him that she thinks he's nice. When Petunia tries to tell him, it comes up, "I nice," but Duke agrees with more argument urging from Nonna. Petunia is finally able to tell Duke that she thinks he's nice, which Duke is flattered. Before Petunia then gives the key to Duke, which Duke asks her about it. Petunia is then able to ask Duke to joust for her at the tournament to win the other half of the crest from Glivesleeve's brother. When Duke is confused about this, Petunia mentions further that with more help from Nonna, if Glivesleeve's brother won't look out for her family, then Duke must. When Duke asks Petunia about this, Petunia tells him, "You're Nonna's second cousin," to which Duke replies, "Twice removed." Before Petunia tells Duke that it's not a lot to ask, but she wants, or rather needs, him to joust for her. At first, Duke is at a loss for words, but he finally accepts Petunia's request for him to joust. I think that's how you say it, or joust for her in the tournament, saying that she'll do anything for her, even if he joist. Aldous the Elevated. When Duke asks Glivesleeve's brother is Nonna, who is Glivesleeve's brother, Nonna answers that it's none other than Aldous the Elevated, something that Duke is shocked to hear. Nevertheless, Duke approaches Otis, telling him that he will just him at the tournament. Of course, when Otis hears the news, he starts laughing until he sees the key-shaped crest around Duke's neck. Before realizing the body of the duck is the only thing he has. Duke tells Otis that the winner gets both halves of the duck, which Otis is interested in hearing. Before Duke telling him, if you won't take care of family, I will. Otis then retorts that looking out for others is for saps. But Duke tells him that looking out for others is true love. This only makes Otis laugh more, telling Duke that he's seen him trained before telling him that he's on. Soon the day of the tournament has come at last, as Novik introduces the crowd to the two competitors of the joust, which the Otis they elevated, which everyone cheers for, and Duke, which everyone boos as someone throws the apple at his head. Novik then explains that the winner gets both halves of the golden crest to Gleeslave's castle, with all the treasure that lies within. Before also saying that if they act now, which will include a lovely set of Ginshio knives. Novik then explains that the contest will consist of 3 tests worthy of a knight. The first one being a obstacle, of course, known as the impossible obstacle course of peril. Duke is rather nervous by the sight of the obstacle course. Though Otis is the first one to go through the obstacle course, he quickly slides down the slide, runs on the turning ramp, slides down the tunnel, navigating his way past a bunch of boots, hammers, and boxing gloves, and swimming poles. Swinging poles, not pools. Swings over a pit of slime and bounces up a trampoline next to Norvik. With 23 seconds as his best time, it is now Duke's turn. He ends up losing his balance down the slide before he falls into a ramp, staggering into the tunnel, gets hit by each of the swinging weapons, falls into the pit of slime, ends up hitting the side in announcement post when he attempts to bounce off the trampoline with 67 seconds for his worst time. Lucas and Petunia have been watching everything, with Lucas saying that it's not looking good for Duke. The second test of the joust is what's known as the curling capototes of slime, in which Duke and Otis are to be asked to a riddle by Abbot of Castorio, played by Scallion 1, to which is if one of them guesses the answer right, the other will get catapulted into a bucket of slime. Abbo then goes ahead with a riddle which is, there are 3 members of a royal family with strange names. Sir who? Prince what? Lady I don't know. They want to board a ferry across the treacherous river. Taking account their rank, who would be the reverse order in which who they should board the ferry? By luck, Duke is able to correctly guess who on first, what's on second, and third I don't know. When Otis tries to ask who went third, he ends up getting catapulted into the second bucket into a bucket of slime. As a result, Lucas and Petunia and Knowledge are especially happy to see that Duke was able to beat Otis in the second test of joist. I don't know how to say it. To which Novik is surprised to see. At the same time that Otis comes out of the slime while looking very angry, the third test of the joist is known as the Joust of Pies of Doom. The joust involves Duke and Otis jousting each other. on wooden horses with pies situated on the ends of their lances, and whoever gets knocked off his horse loses. Otis then yells at Duke that he's going to lose everything before Duke then looks down, becoming dizzy at how high he is on the ramp. Lucas then tells Duke that that no one would blame him if he backs out, saying that Petunia is a rebellion, before asking Duke if he really is really willing to take a pie for Petunia. Duke then answers that Petunia has no family to look out for. I dropped the lotion. Okay, has no family to look out for her, and he has to think of her first. And Joyce then begins as both Duke and Otis charge towards each other on their horses, but they miss the first time as the horses then roll up the opposite ramps. Before rolling back down towards each other, they miss the second time before they both charge down the ramps again, but this time sunlight then reflects off of Otis' helmet onto the key around Petunia's neck, blinding him and leading him to get knocked off his horse by Duke, which means that Duke is the winner of the joust. The Carrot Knight and Sleeveless Knights are proud of Duke for winning the joust. Just as Novik approaches the defeated Otis, who weirdly asks him, "What are you looking at?" Petunia then approaches Duke as Duke tells her that there will be a family now, and that he'll take care of her forever, which Petunia is happy to hear. Later, the Abbot of Castro marries Duke and Petunia before telling him, you may, oh my gosh, what's going on with my voice? You may join the house the duck, which Duke does. However, once the two halves of the golden duck-shaped crest have been made whole again, the duck then walks around a few times before laying a golden egg on the ground. Of course, Duke and Petunia end up bumping their heads again when they both try to retrieve the egg at the same time. Before the choir then sings about true love, just as the story comes to an end after that. Closing countertop. Bob compliments Larry on the stories that he presented, saying that they were great stories about loving your family. Larry then thanks Bob for the compliment, before telling Bob that he felt bad about never telling him about his family. That he gave his brother a call so that Bob could meet them. The Greek cucumbers hop onto the countertop as Larry introduces Bob to them, which are his brothers Bob, a short mustachio cucumber with a white collar and a yellow tie with black polka dots. Steve, a tall cucumber with a purple coat and a brown necklace. And Mark, a middle-height biscuit cucumber with blonde hair and a white collar, a dark red bow tie, and a red coat. Bob then tells the Greek cucumbers that it's great to meet them, but they say not to say anything, with Larry telling him that they're not much for talking, but they sure can sing. Larry demonstrates this by telling his brothers that they're over by quarter to talk about what they learned today, to which the Greek cucumbers then start singing like choir-like version of what we have learned today song. After the song ends, the Greek cucumbers then leave after that, with Larry telling Bob that they had to get back to the hardware store, which Bob is confused about. To which Larry answers that I chose life of a show business, they chose life of hardware. With Bob telling him that they sing so nice, before Larry tells him, you should see them with a table song. Despite the setback, Bob and Larry consult QWERTY for a verse, which he brings up as, be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves. Romans 12:10. Bob then recaps that in the story of Miriam and Moses, Miriam learns that she needs to think about what her brother needed, and she showed love to him by protecting him. Even though it was hard, Larry also recaps that the story of the princess and the pie war, Duke, Sweet Petunia, and Nona all looked out for each other because each wanted wanted the others to be happy. Bob then tells Cody that God gave us families to help each other, and that the very best way for her to show love, to show her new little brother is to think about him first. Kind of like how your mom looks out for you, and that will help him grow up to be a great brother. And Cody will feel great because she helped Larry. Agrees with that because she helped. Larry agrees with that because true love always thinks of the others first. Bob and Larry sign off before Larry tells Bob that he has to do a video link with his dad, who is an astronaut because he's in orbit, and he has to wish him a happy birthday before Bob hops up, telling him, "Larry, we gotta talk more." The episode ends after that. Well, that is all for today. Sorry if the video is a little long. Well, I hope you learned something from God today, and I hope you go listen to that song because I can't show it because I'm afraid of copyright. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and you're gonna be seeing some words in 3, 2, 1.